Hello and welcome back to Chef Secrets. I'm Theresa DeRosa. Today I'm in a private home in Drummers Cove in Wellfleet, owned by Mr. Louis Haight, and he was kind enough to bring us into his amazing chef's kitchen. Two chefs from a Dennisport establishment will co-chef while revealing some of their secret recipes. We'll discuss some important researched information on the medicinal value of the ingredients, affordable substitutions, and how some items will boost your sex drive. You're in for a fun and exciting show. Chef Gail Nell and Chef Paul McCormick, brother and sister and owners of the Ebb Tide Seaview Restaurant in Dennisport. Thank you, chefs.
Hi,
Hey, Teresa.
I've seen your website, and I recently visited your establishment, and you have quite an amazing history at the Ebb Tide.
Well, we do. It actually started 54 years ago. This is our 54th year, and our parents started the restaurant. It was just a sea captain's cottage. We lived upstairs, got in a lot of trouble at that point when we were younger. And now it's grown to 165 seats, 5 different dining rooms. Third generation is working into us. So it's really a lot of fun, but to have the whole family there is quite dynamic.
Oh, it's lovely. And I was there the other day, and you have a nice history on the
Well, the interesting
Ebbtide.
piece of the history is the local guy is Caleb Chase. Now, Caleb Chase started in the coffee business and owned Chase and Sanborn Coffee. And from there, he died in 1908, but he owned a lot of the property around. And he left $10,000 to the town of Dennis and the town of Harwich as a legacy. And that fund is still being used today to benefit people in town. So it's kind of a nice piece. And then the road, Chase Ave, that we're on was named after him.
Now, what do you have to offer at the Ebb Tide that makes you different from other establishments?
I think it's the local food that we've got, the personalities of the kids that work for us. It's a lot of college kids. They're great to work with. It's a family atmosphere, and we provide the family, and we've got other people that are from other families, and they're all working with us together. So that's kind of a nice thing.
It's very nice to keep rehiring staff back.
Yes.
It's really a great thing. Now, you also do private events at Seaview, and do you cater out also?
Well, the Seaview does a lot of functions. Traditionally, or most often, weddings, birthday parties, celebrations, anniversary parties. It's right across the street from the beach with an ocean view.
Now, you're opening soon, right?
Yes, Mother's Day weekend is our opening weekend, and we stay right through to Columbus Day weekend.
I'm looking forward to coming in and dining. One of the items you're preparing today are oysters a few different ways.
We are going to prepare them traditional with a really great cocktail sauce, a mignonette sauce, as well as oysters Rockefeller.
The entree chef.
The entree is crab cakes. We serve a lot of them. It's become one of our signature meals. And with the crab cake, we're also going to serve a beet salad, which is done with golden beets, red beets, goat cheese, a vinaigrette, and some nuts. We're going to put.
And we're doing a great dessert, which is one of my specialties. It's a white chocolate mousse with a mixed berry compote. And we're going to co-chef that together.
I look forward to it.
Chef Nell, Chef Paul McCormick, and I were going to cook up some great dishes in the kitchen for you. Many people have medical issues that can be resolved with the proper diet, and some of the foods we're using today are very, very good for your sex drive. Can eating specific foods get that mojo going? I'm a skeptic about this theory, and curiosity got the best of me, so I decided to investigate. Because hey, I'll admit, there are times we could all use some inspiration to get in the mood. And yes, sometimes eating specific foods stimulate bodily desires. So I say, bring it on, baby. Now, we all know the brain, after all, is the largest sexual organ in the body. So to get you in the mood and to get the mojo going, we have some foods that can boost your sex drive naturally. Move over, Viagra. We've got some delicious power foods. Don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to have a funky good time. What else would we start with but Wellfleet Oysters, right? Being in Wellfleet. And of course, you serve oysters at the Ebb Tide and the Seaview.
Yes, we do. We do Rockefeller, and we also do natural with a cocktail sauce and with a mignonette sauce.
We also use Dennis oysters because we have our own grant in Dennis that we actually harvest our oysters from. So we get them from
Oh,
Dennis. So
very nice.
we use them we actually grow them ourselves, so that's a good
Very
thing for
nice.
us.
So you have a farm?
We do.
Gail does
Very,
that.
very cool. That's exciting.
It is exciting, and it's a learning curve that's straight up as we're doing it. But
Yeah.
it takes 3 years before we can harvest them.
Tell me what ingredients you have in the Oysters Rockefeller.
We are, right now I've just infused the butter with some garlic, which we are going to take a little bit of this off. And Theresa, if you'd like to put half the amount of that breadcrumbs right in this bowl here.
Oh, I'm going to help, may I?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, great. So how about if I just put on my little
Perfect.
chef's secret
Many
apron?
hands make light work, so we like to do that.
Okay, so you want half of the breadcrumbs.
Yes, please. And just put the garlic in for a small opportunity to infuse the flavor. And we'll be mixing this together.
Now, oysters help with your sex drive. They have a lot of zinc, and legend has it that the Venetian romance Casanova ate dozens of oysters a day. He once seduced a Vestal virgin by seductively sliding an oyster from his mouth to hers. If that doesn't get you in the mood, what will, right?
Or make you blush. One
Or
way
make,
the other.
or make you blush. In fact, current research proves our suspicion oysters improve dopamine levels, which boosts libido in men and women. And oysters are also high in zinc, which is vital for testosterone production and healthy sperm. How many oysters do you eat a day? Come on. A lot of oysters?
You do know Rockefeller these were named after John Rockefeller in the 1890s because they were very rich, as you make them with lots of butter and
Sure,
that's the
sure.
name.
And spinach is
So
also...
shallots are in here, or shallots, you can say them either way. Baby spinach, and we're just wilting this down a little bit. And then we are going to add some of the Pernod to give it a little bit of a licorice flavor in here.
Okay, now Pernod, you could also substitute Pernod for a Zambuca, correct? And if someone didn't like spinach, and who doesn't like spinach? But if someone didn't, you could also use what other greens?
I would use arugula, which a lot of people are trying now. It has a nice sharp flavor, which is great. And of course, watercress was the original component in them and not spinach. So watercress is really the way to go with it.
Well, we know that spinach is at the top of the list along with other leafy greens. It's the most eaten green for people that just don't get cancer. A super source of antioxidants and cancer antagonists containing about 4 times more beta carotene and 3 times more leucine than broccoli. It's rich in fiber and it helps lower blood cholesterol. Well, they say when you're in the kitchen cooking, you have a little wine here, you pour a little in there, a little Pernod, a little here.
That's it. Flavor the cook as you flavor your food.
That's right.
That's right.
There you go. I have to remember that saying. Flavor your cook as you flavor the food.
That's right.
All right.
So we added the Pernod. We like that to cook down a little bit because we want to get rid of the alcohol content because we just want the flavor. And it gives us a nice licorice flavor in here. We're just about ready to fill them, but what we need to do in here is add a little bit of olive oil and cheese and parsley.
Okay, how
right
much?
to our-
The whole thing?
Nope, you're just going to do a couple drops. The cheese. We'll add a little bit of cheese because we want to add some flavor to the breadcrumbs.
And this is a Parmesan?
Yes, it is. And those are fresh breadcrumbs. And if you're making this at home, it's easy. Take day-old bread. If you don't have day-old bread, pop it in the toaster.
Now, if someone wanted to substitute the Parmesan for like an Asiago or another type of cheese, that's okay?
Absolutely.
All righty. So you talked about shallots earlier that are
Yes.
in here. And the viewers really should know that research studies show shallots are a staple cooking ingredient in Asia, Mexico, and France, also the Mediterranean region. Several research studies regarding the use of shallots. These studies have proven that shallots can cure many severe diseases like cancer, diabetes, etc. And they contain antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory properties. They're loaded with vitamin A.
I have to say, my brother's being very quiet, and this isn't normal.
waiting.
Oh,
This is a brother-sister kind of thing, and he's usually, because he's the older, so we usually get a little of that going here. Yeah.
come on,
Okay.
Chef. Chef Paul.
And we have great cavities, and that's a really nice sign of a nice oyster, is to have a nice cavity for the oyster for it to stay in.
Okay.
It makes it easy to eat out of, but it makes it like its own little vessel.
Kosher salt is in the bottom, and what it does is it prevents them from rocking back and forth so that they don't empty and spill out. That's the best way to do it.
Oh, very nice. So you put a bed of salt down there.
Yep.
Because
We're going to put them in the oven. They'll stay straight up. Nothing will happen to them.
And sometimes you see that in presentation also.
While those are cooking, we're going to make the little mignonette, which is, I think, the best way to have oysters. Shallots, vinegar, pepper, and a little secret is using a little bit of sugar. It takes the edge off with it. So really all you need to do in this particular amount, we're going to make probably about half a cup or so of vinegar. You can experiment with this. Is about 3 shallots.
Now, if someone doesn't like
up.
shallots, can they use an onion?
You could.
This tastes better.
This is the way to go.
Sure.
And then some fresh ground pepper, very coarsely grated. And then about a half a teaspoon of sugar. And that's all you need. Thanks.
And look at these oysters. Ooh, they're beautiful.
Really accentuates the flavor.
Okay, we're going to try these spectacular oysters. Mignonette sauce for Wellfleet Oysters. 3 shallots diced, 1/2 cup of white wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of fresh ground pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of sugar. Stir all together and spoon over raw Wellfleet oysters. Okay, now we know that crab is rich in a nutrient that plays an important role in protecting our bodies from oxidative damage. That nutrient is selenium, and selenium is part of enzyme systems that reduce oxidative damage to cells and tissues. And we have the ingredients are?
Yes, we are ready to go. And this is a wonderful dish. It's very easy. We have some beautiful crab meat here. Healthy and wonderfully done. And you want it so that it's coarse. You don't want the full legs because we want it to be nice and meaty in the crab cake.
Okay.
But we don't want to have the full legs in this.
And do you serve these crab cakes at Ebb Tide and
We
Seaview?
do sell a ton of them.
Nice. And some of the other ingredients are red onion.
Yes.
No, red onion was originated in Piju, Slovenia. They have very low in saturated fats, cholesterol, and sodium. They also are a good source of dietary fiber, vitamin B6, folate, potassium, magnesium, and an excellent source of vitamin C.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we
Right
throw these in.
Yes. Celery nice and chopped. Green scallions, green onion.
Okay, scallion.
And you use the white and the green. You use it all. Don't just stop at the white bulb part. And every time you add, just keep mixing it up so that you get those flavors all the way through as you go through.
Sure.
We're going to add Dijon mustard. You need to have flavor and you need to bring out all the flavor. And since we're putting in such great natural products, we want to bring out all the flavor tones that we have in there.
course,
So by adding layer upon layer, it really helps. Parsley,
Very nice.
great. We have some cayenne pepper and some thyme. The cayenne gives it a little heat. The thyme just adds a little bit of a different complexity to your flavor.
Well, these are all very, very healthy ingredients. And scallions are, they work well as an antipyretic, expectorant, antibacterial, antifungal. They're effective against colds, headaches, chills to the stomach, indigestion, and also for insomnia. So we need to all grow some scallion, and when we can't sleep at night, go out and grab a bunch and just jump on it.
Breadcrumbs adds another dimension to it, but it helps hold it together, gives it some body, some firmness, so that when you have that crab cake, it really holds up to it.
Started some that we've already made ahead of time, so I'm just cooking them up. And I'm going to
Okay.
sear them in the pan on both sides. And then you could either finish them in the pan, or if not, you could throw them in the oven for a few minutes just to warm them and keep them.
Very nice.
The last ingredient we're going to add, well, we're going to actually add 2 last ingredients. Worcestershire sauce is one, because that has a nice flavor, and it's not often used too much, but you want to only add a little bit of it, because
Sure.
it can be overpowering. And then mayonnaise. And our mayonnaise is used as our binding agent.
Red pepper has it's loaded with all sorts of vitamins C, A, E, K, and K is very good for the bones. Mustard seeds emerged from our food ranking system as an excellent source of selenium. It's a nutrient that has been shown to help reduce the severity of asthma, decreases some of the symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis, and helps prevent cancer. Physicians of both civilizations, included the father of medicine, Hippocrates, used mustard as a medicinal purpose, and mustard seed is one of the most popular spices traded in the world today.
And this is the point where you just go and make them into the patties of your choice. If you wanted to serve them for hors d'oeuvres and appetizers, make them smaller. If you'd like them bigger, make them about 3 inches, and it's nice.
You can even do a bite size if you want.
Yep, absolutely. And
Oh,
a
sure.
little sauce. So they're very versatile. They cook up so nicely. They're fresh. They're moist, which is really important. But it's very easy to put together, and you can enjoy it for your whole family.
You know, there's so many different medicinal values of foods. People should just look on my website. I've got one of my pull downs there, and it has the medicinal value of a lot of the foods.
It's going to be a mesclun salad with a vinaigrette dressing, and with it is goat cheese, golden beets, red beets, and walnuts. So,
Pecans.
or pecans.
Candied pecans.
I can't remember that.
That's okay.
I'll put them in front of you.
There's
That's
the pecans,
okay.
as a matter of
Candied
fact.
pecans. Now, beets, red and yellow beets, in traditional Chinese medicine, beets are a food with considerable healing powers. It strengthens the heart, calms the mind and spirit, nourishes the blood, benefits the liver. Beets are loaded with vitamin A, B1, B2, B6, and C. And the greens on the beets have a higher content of iron compared to spinach. Now, when I make soups and I have beets, I'll save the greens and I put that in my soups, which I love. They also are an excellent source of calcium, magnesium, copper, phosphorus, sodium, and iron.
And you want to cook them for just a few minutes because that releases the oil and you get the flavor. And then you add some really nice syrup. And that
Like a maple
caramelizes
syrup?
A really nice maple syrup. And it caramelizes it. And you're done.
A little lobster bisque underneath. You can
Oh.
also use a red pepper jelly if you
Yes.
wanted to, or any type of a relish, watermelon relish even in the summertime if you
Mango.
wanted to, anything like that. So with this, we're just going to do a mesclun salad with a vinaigrette dressing. The vinaigrette dressing is a great thing because you can do anything with it, add any herbs, anything fresh, anything dried in the wintertime. And basically, I've got a little Dijon mustard, roasted garlic. We've got oil and vinegar, and of course the ratio is always 2/3 oil to 1/3 of the vinegar. We'll kind of mix this up.
And pecans are competent enough to prevent blood pressure rise. They also prevent superior hypertension, risk of stroke, of heart attack. The early reports of research have shown that it has certain important elements that would help prevent breast cancer. Pecans contain a very high amount of oleic acid, which has the capacity to control the unusual activities of cells. Cancer in your family, you can avoid the risk of getting it by consuming pecans. Lovely. And we know that dark greens are good for you. And also, what you put into your body, we know it exudes on the outside. If you feel good on the inside and you're eating healthy, you know, you want to take care of yourself. Who doesn't want to go and get their hair and skin taken care of, right? Try going to New York Hair Company and Spa in Orleans. I go there and they take care of my skin and my hair, and you need to visit there and ask for Miss Judy Perez. Tell them that Theresa DeRosa from Chef Secrets sent you.
So there you go.
Beautiful
Pretty simple.
presentation. So again, Chef, down here you have a
That's a lobster bisque.
a
You can
lobster
do-
bisque.
so.
Simply gorgeous. We have a roasted garlic, and that is another great item to help with your sex drive. When you roast garlic, it tastes sweeter, but raw garlic can make your partner turn away in the bed, but it can certainly stir up your sexual desire. The heat in garlic is what stirs up the libido. Garlic contains allicin, which is thought to increase blood flow in the sexual organs. This trick doesn't work overnight. However, apparently you need to consume it for about a month to reap the rewards. If you can't stand the raw garlic, go for the capsules found in your local food market.
All we did was we took the head of garlic, cut it in half, put it in foil, and roasted it for about 35 minutes in the oven that was going anyway. It's kind of an
Ebbtide Restaurant famous crab cakes, 3 pounds of crab meat, 1 small red onion minced, 4 each of white and green scallions chopped, 2 celery sticks minced, 2 red bell peppers seeded and diced, 1/2 cup of fresh parsley minced, 3 cups of breadcrumbs, 3 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1½ teaspoon of cayenne pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, 2 large eggs, 1 cup of mayonnaise, butter as needed. In a large mixing bowl, place crab meat, onions, scallions, celery, peppers, parsley, and combine. Add breadcrumbs, mustard, thyme, cayenne, and Worcestershire sauce. Mix thoroughly. Beat eggs into the crab cake mixture until well blended and season with salt and pepper. Make into 3-inch patties. Melt butter in a sauté pan. Add crab cakes and sauté, turning only once until golden brown on each side. Serve with your favorite sauce.
And we have beautiful berries here, a Chambord and a lemon or lime squeeze.
We have apricot preserve because give it a nice sheen.
Okay, and we're gonna add those ingredients in, and Chef McCormick is gonna whip up some whipped cream. I'm gonna boil up some heavy cream here. And once this starts to boil, these are gel strips. And once they soften, the cream boils, you drop them in. And once that's all dissolved, you have some wonderful white chocolate. Any type of chocolate, but I'm using white chocolate because it's white chocolate mousse. However, dark chocolate comes from cocoa bean, and in its process, it's also known as cocoa. The Aztecs referred to cocoa as nourishment of the gods. Modern day foodies know raw chocolate in its pure, unadulterated form, and it's a superfood. Helps you with your sex drive. It has more antioxidants than green tea and white wine. It also contains a stimulant chemical known as phenylethylamine. That stimulates the sense of excitement and well-being. Now, who wouldn't want that? The Journal of Sexual Medicine published a study that found women who enjoyed a piece of chocolate every day had more active sex life than those who didn't. I'll drink to that. Pass the dark chocolate around. So we're going to do this white chocolate mousse. However, we got some great dark chocolate turtles for everybody. We're going to top off on your desserts. So now we have all this beautiful white chocolate. And this is a great, amazing dessert. There's many, many other foods besides chocolate that help with your sex drive. We have watermelon, asparagus, avocados, celery that we talked about earlier, hot chilies, pumpkin seeds, figs, and Mecca, which we know in Peru, they use it as a natural Viagra. So chef's folding the white chocolate and gelatin mixture and heavy cream in with whipping cream. And it creates this beautiful white chocolate mousse. So you put it in an ice bath and you let it come down to room temperature or chilled, slightly chilled. And or you put it in the refrigerator overnight and it gets nice and hardened and thick. Now mind you, the white mousse should be hardened. However, it looks beautiful like this.
Theresa DeRosa's white chocolate mousse and mixed berry compote, 6 ounces of whipped cream, 1 gelatin sheet, 6 ounces of cream, and 6 ounces of white chocolate. In a small mixer, whip 6 ounces of whipped cream to a medium peak. Soften the gelatin in ice water. Bring cream to a boil. Add gelatin to the warm liquid and pour liquid over the chocolate. Stir by hand until completely melted. Let cool until room temperature. Fold the liquid into the whipped cream and chill until it's firm. Mixed berry compote. Mix 2 cups of your favorite berries. Squeeze 1 whole lemon juice. 3 tablespoons of your favorite preserve. 2 ounces of Chambord. Mix together and chill. Layer the white mousse in berry compote and serve.
I know how hard they work in their establishments and to keep their restaurants going. So I always ask them, because people say to me, who's cooking these beautiful meals? So I like to ask them something personal about themselves. Chef Nell, would you like to share something personal about yourself?
Sure. I have to say that as hard as people think this business is, it is. But the best thing for me, I think, is being with all our family. And It took me a while to realize that and really enjoy it, but to have all 3 generations there is something else. And
Well, we
helping
joke
out-
that our kids learned their alphabet in the bar. Absolute, B and B, C, C. But it becomes part of what they do. So. But your employees become like family too, so that's a good thing as well.
Yes, absolutely. And do you have a personal
Well, I'll add to that,
secret
but
of your own?
I will add a secret because everybody says this, that they don't know about this about me, is the fact that my favorite thing to eat is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh, God. I
And
toast
it's on the very first menu that Mom and Dad made. It's there for him.
So I like, that's what I eat
Yeah.
when I get home.
A peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, peanuts are good for you. Oh, my goodness. Well, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
those
you for
stories.
having us.
I hope all the viewers enjoyed the researched medicinal information on the foods to assist you with your sex drive. Now, before you turn to any foods, please always discuss it with your doctor. My conclusion, if you want to seriously boost your libido, stock your pantry with these items and eat them on a regular basis. Who knows? You might even lose weight in the process by eating these healthy foods. And the extra exercise you're getting in the bedroom couldn't be all that bad, right? Next up, we're going to pair all these scrumptious dishes with some amazing wine, champagne, and beverages. So stay with us. Don't go away. Thank you all. Chefs, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us.
It was
It
great.
was just a lot of fun. And thank you, Mr. Haight. By the way, what is your background?
I specialize in asset preservation. I usually work only by referrals. I work with a lot of attorneys.
So financial services.
Yes,
And people want to get in touch with you, they can see your email address in the credits below.
that's correct.
And what would you suggest, chefs, that would pair well with it?
Well, it's always fun to start off with a Prosecco, to have some of the bubbles to kind of entice your palate towards what you're going to have for the rest of the day and evening into your meal. Prosecco goes lovely with raw oysters wonderfully well. It also goes with oysters
I
Rockefeller.
would do the Chablis. I like the Chablis with oysters, whether they're a Rockefeller or they're served all by themselves. There's a nice piece of mineral taste that goes with the Chablis that really makes it stand out with the oysters.
Well, these are
That's why I like them.
spectacular, by the way. I didn't taste them when we were cooking them. I think you're right. You know, I've eaten oysters Rockefeller many times, but I've never tried a Prosecco with it. Delicious, thank you. And then we have the beautiful crab cakes. Which wine would you suggest?
I like the Raymond Chardonnay. It's a reserve. It's a very buttery Chardonnay, so it brings out more of the crab flavor. It goes with that richness.
Best crab cakes I've ever had. So we have this beautiful white chocolate mousse with the berry Chambord compote. And Chef, what would you suggest?
Here we have King Estate Pinot Noir. It's a little bit of red, not too heavy.
Well, let's try this wonderful dessert. And you're right, you know, I love red wine with dessert. Would you suggest a dessert wine or Gail?
I would do a
Chef
port, for example. Ports are great.
Thank you so much. It was fun.
You're
It was so
welcome.
much
Great.
fun.
Good seeing you.
Yeah.
It was really-
Thank you for watching Theresa DeRosa's Chef Secrets. And if you want these recipes from today's show, please visit the Ebb Tide and Seaview Restaurants in Dennisport. They will gladly give you a printout of the recipes. You can also watch past episodes of the show or suggest a favorite restaurant or product by going to my website, chefs-secrets.com. Remember Hippocrates, the father of medicine, once said, "Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food." We'll see you next time when we plan on revealing more chef's secrets.